Well, hello and welcome, everybody. It is time for this Friday edition of Denver Broncos Tonight, November 21st, 2025. Just got home from work. You know how a restaurant can be. Either way, now I am here to talk about Brandon Aiyuk. But before we get into it, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. If you're watching on the replay, I appreciate you. Maybe leave your TV on and fall asleep so I can get that watch time bumped up or whatever. But without further ado, here's me talking about this. And while I'm waiting for people to show up, I am going to give my 2 cents about why the Broncos should sign Brandon Aiyuk. Okay. Now, first of all, I am going to edit my name real quick. Actually, I don't think you can do that. Wait. Oh, yeah, you can. Edit name. All right. If you scroll on LinkedIn, you see that there are plenty of people who call themselves thought leaders. So I'm going to call myself the Broncos thought leader today. And one more thing I'm going to do, I'm going to send this link to my Discord. All my friends in my Discord. I don't know. That contract is wild. If they were to waive Brandon Aiyuk, then they wouldn't have to take it on. But hi, Troy Franklin. It's my Pookie. Great to see you in here. But they don't need, like, if he was to get flat out cut from San Francisco, the Broncos wouldn't have to take on the contract. They wouldn't have to take on $30 million a year. I like our young guys too, but we need to add one more weapon. Okay. I like Troy, but he to me is more of a depth piece. He's more to me a wide receiver 3 than he is a 2. He's not ready to take the role of a 2 yet. Sutton obviously getting older. We'll see. Either way, time for me to share my case about why the Broncos should sign Aiyuk. All right. Everybody's favorite tool, reception perception. So, really with Aiyuk, like, I don't know. Aiyuk's 2023 was plenty good for him to demand this. Because Aiyuk was, in 2023, one of the best receivers in football. Like, straight up, he was one of the best players in the sport. All right? Well, I'm not going to say one of the best players in the sport, but he was a very, very good player. He was a really, really good player for San Francisco. But, wow, we already got 13 of you in here. What's up, everyone? Hopefully you guys are doing amazing on this Friday night. I think the front office will view him as a non-culture fit. Wow, we already got 28 people in here. Holy cow. We aren't signing Aiyuk, unfortunately. I think the front office will view him as a non-culture fit. So here's what I have to say about that. Kyle Shanahan is one of the pettiest guys in football. And it's no surprise to me that, bridges are being burned here. Mainly because, first of all, Shanahan has had problems with Aiyuk going back years, like ever since they drafted him. I remember in his rookie year, Kyle Shanahan said something, and then Kyle Shanahan said something, or Aiyuk got soft benched in 2021 at the beginning of 2021. Then he was good in the second half of the year, and then he got hurt in 2022. And then in 2023, he had a real wide receiver one breakout season. But Aiyuk is a very, very, very good football player. Like, I think anybody, well, he was at least. And I'm not here to say that things can't change on a whim. For new viewer, what's the topic of discussion? Hello, Bloody X2138. Thank you. I appreciate you popping in. It's basically, should the Broncos sign Aiyuk? Yeah, but here's what I'll say. Troy Franklin is my Pookie. He is a diva wide receiver, and Sean Payton doesn't put up with this. Apparently, it was between us and the Patriots for Diggs. So the Broncos, they clearly feel some type of way about this wide receiver room. No doubt in my mind, Emeka Egbuka would have been the pick had he lasted until number 20. But even though he's not a diva, he doesn't fit the prototype. But, I don't think that, yeah, we really don't do the diva wide receiver thing. But that being said, I think Aiyuk is plenty fine. And listen, he's not a guy who you would sign him and he's like guaranteed to make your team or whatever. Like, if they were to take a flyer on him, if they were to take a straight up flyer on Brandon Aiyuk, then they could literally sign him for the vet minimum for all I care. But, obviously I bet he would have some suitors in the open market. But the Broncos, in my opinion, would be absolutely foolish to not kick the tires and at least see what's good out here. Yeah, either way, here are some things that Aiyuk has done. All right. So, I don't know. Reception perception, Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk. One of the best route runners in the sport. Like pure separation, pure route runner. Aiyuk has been as good as it gets after he's been a member of the San Francisco 49ers. And then he said that if I'm San Francisco, I wouldn't consider anything lower than the AJ Brown trade for Aiyuk. Some of the media trades have been outright hypothetical, and if that's what the 49ers are getting, no wonder they haven't considered it. AJ Brown is at least as good as AJ Brown, or Aiyuk has been as good as AJ Brown was when he left Tennessee. AJ Brown is absolutely an elite football player, or he was a long time ago. That being said, it's not impossible to think that he's not going to be the same dude because, you go to San Francisco, you tear your ACL, and it's been a long time. Like, I've been really curious to see why in the world has Brandon Aiyuk just been on the sidelines for a year. And then I think about the fact that, he was not only skipping meetings and being lazy with his rehab, but also the 49ers strength and conditioning staff is chronically one of the most irresponsible in sports, and they have no idea what they're doing. So, listen, man. You can say whatever you want about the Broncos, and you can say whatever you want about, Brandon Aiyuk or whatever. And you can say whatever you want about our culture, but the reality of the situation is this would be an amazing signing. Like, this would be a phenomenal idea to kick the tires on. If you're the Denver Broncos, you got to kick the tires on Brandon Aiyuk, in my opinion. Here's what I will say. Hold on. Okay, so I'm in the David Talks Broncos Discord, which, by the way, you guys should check out if you have not already. But here's what I had some thoughts about this. We talked about Alex Singleton in the chat a little bit earlier, but here's what I said. I said, as good as a program Shanahan has built in San Francisco, he's one of the pettiest guys in football. He's had problems with Aiyuk for a long, long time. Like, this is nothing new. And sure, Aiyuk made a complete fool out of himself during those negotiations, last summer or whatever. But plenty players act uncharacteristically. Think about Terry McLaurin. Think about a handful of other guys that have just acted out during these contract negotiations to try to get the attention of media, to try to get the attention of team, to try to send a message, et cetera, et cetera. But also, the 49ers strength and conditioning staff is irresponsible, okay? There's many, many years and plenty of data to back this up that the 49ers are chronically one of the most injured teams in the league. So it's no surprising that Aiyuk wasn't taking his rehab seriously and not showing up to team meetings or whatever. But, and at the bottom of this, I said, I'm not saying that we should give him a market deal or anything like that. But at the same time, he was a bona fide wide receiver 2 years ago at this time. And once again, not impossible to think that he's completely fallen off a cliff. Not impossible to think that he's completely regressed. Very well within the realm of possibility that he is no longer the same player. And honestly, I think if you signed him expecting him to be the same player, you would be a big fool. You would be an absolute fool to expect the same Brandon Aiyuk that the 49ers got in 2023. That being said, we are 2 years removed, probably 3 by the time he steps on the field, of Aiyuk being one of the best receivers in football. So, all this, it makes me think we should absolutely kick the tires on Aiyuk. Like, to me, it's not even a question. I think if you are able to get him for around $10 million a year or even less, I think that's a slam dunk. I think you do that even in a heartbeat. Now, obviously, the caveat is how are NFL teams going to value him? The caveat is how are NFL teams going to look at his body of work? Think about him being let go from the 49ers, and how are they going to, evaluate that in their free agency process? But yeah, that's all I have to say about Aiyuk. Like, I'm not going to completely harp on the guy. I'm not going to harp on this for too terribly long, but hold on. Yeah, and this is not an invalid argument against Aiyuk right here. I'm not going to pretend like I know the full stories, but if a team is paying you $30 million a year, you should go to the team meetings. And also, the pressure in his face, the pressure causes this incompletion. But look, Aiyuk had Snead in prison, or Aiyuk was obliterating Snead all game long in the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs still would have gotten the ball back, but he made a play against a very good corner. Algerius Snead had a very good 2023. And unfortunately, he didn't get the opportunity to deliver. Yeah, and like, listen, I get why San Francisco fans are like, all right, good riddance, but and this is part of the problem. That being said, once again, I don't think Aiyuk and Shanahan mesh. I truly don't. I truly don't think Aiyuk and Shanahan is a long-term fit. And I was kind of surprised they signed him to that contract because, they had just drafted Pearsall in the draft in 2024, another guy who just can't stay on the field. But, I thought Pearsall was in a good position to not overtake Aiyuk, but I thought he was in position to have a really big key role in the San Francisco offense. And unfortunately, yeah. Son of Judas says, I don't think we'll sign him. You make a strong point, though. Yeah. Like, I don't think we'll sign him either, but I think we should. Like, the point I'm trying to make is I think we should. And, if the Broncos decide to pass on him, fine. It's a thing I'm willing to live with. But, the upside is so tantalizing for me. Let's go, brother. Yes. Why would we want Brandon when he is so toxic? First of all, the only times that we've actually heard of him or actually had behavior or proof that he's been toxic is the contract negotiations. Okay. Early in 2021, he took his benching like a champ. He got really, really early thrust into the wide receiver one role in San Francisco during his rookie year and then didn't do the things that he was supposed to stay on top, according to Kyle Shanahan. It's one of those things that, you get these guys out of that locker room and you have no idea what they can accomplish. Okay. First of all, there are 3 of his teammates who he used to play with in San Francisco that are here. You never know how that could grow someone up. Also, what am I trying to say? You just never know how a change of scenery can benefit these guys. And if it's like a low value contract with not a lot of guarantees, which the Broncos do a very good job of sheltering themselves, I do not see, there's literally no reason for us to not A, sign him, B, at least bring him in for a visit at the bare minimum. And once again, I think the toxicity is a little overblown. But yeah, those are my thoughts. How do I make this banner a different color? There we go. All right, I like this template. a little better. Either way, now it's time for me to give full attention to your comments because I recognize I have not been able to do that yet. But yeah, Aiyuk's behavior the past couple of years has not been unwarranted, or how do I put this? It's not keeping me away from him, okay? Especially because, if he gets waived, he's not clearing, or he is clearing waivers. Like, there's no team that's going to take on that contract for a guy who just forced his way off a team and for a guy that just tore his Achilles. And, yeah, we'll see. Broncos to the Super Bowl, I think we have a really good shot. If we get the 1 seed, I think we got a really good shot, because our defense can compete with any offense in the AFC these playoffs. I think the team we need to be scared of the most in our run to the Super Bowl is Baltimore. Clearly we're not scared of Kansas City. Buffalo's in free fall mode. The Chargers are going to charge her. Houston is really, really, really freaking good. So, yeah. What about Brandon Cooks? No. I don't know. Like, there's a reason that he's 31 years old and probably not going to get picked up by another team. Like, the dude just doesn't have it anymore. And that's the unfortunate reality of the situation. Yeah, I know he was a fan favorite, but he's done literally nothing this year. He's made almost minimal impact on one of the worst teams in football. So the fact that the Saints are letting him go, the fact that Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore are fine with letting him go, it suggests to me that in not just playing out the season, even though they're going to finish 2-8, it's just proves to me that they really, really like what the other receivers behind him can offer, and they just don't think he has it anymore. And honestly, they're probably not wrong. They're probably not wrong in their assessments. Does Denver pick up a running back due to the Dobbins injury? I think if they were to do so, it would have happened already because we have the bye week, and you would have given a running back a lot more time to acclimate. I don't think they do. Unfortunately, I think they should. But when you look at the names that are available, you get guys like Jamal Williams, you get guys like Deontay Foreman, and you're just getting running backs that are well over the hill. And if they can't make an impact for 31 other teams, what makes you think that they can make an impact for like the top 5, top 10 team that we have right now? Like, and the reality of the situation is, I think they should, kick the tires on someone, but there's a reason that all these guys are, still on the street unsigned. I would rather look to a team's practice squad if we were to, but yeah, there's a reason that everything is looking murky as far in the running back room. But to be fair, the team is off the bye week, so it wouldn't be beneficial to bring him in this week. Yeah, even if they did, I don't think they'd be able to bring him in until 2026. I don't think they'd be able to until the new league year because I don't think San Francisco would like cut him right now. And obviously he's not ready to play. Like the 49ers haven't activated him. The 49ers haven't I don't know how his recovery is going, but the 49ers, he has not had the opportunity to dress this year. He's not had the opportunity to even see the field. For all we know, if this really is bad, then for all we know, he could be fully healthy right now. He could be fully ready to go. But yeah, once again, the 49ers, they wouldn't waive him until next year. I like a practice squad running back. Yeah, I like that idea better than the other ones. Who's out there that's good? Dameon Pierce was just waived by the Houston Texans. I'm trying to think. Practice squad running back that's good. See, the problem is if all these guys were actually good, they'd be on 53-man rosters. But if you're talking about who I think we should bring in, I think we should bring in like a bigger back type, like somebody who can run between tackles. I mean, Dameon Pierce is out there. I know that my boy Mark floated that for a while yesterday, and honestly, I'm a little intrigued. That's on Jalil's performance Sunday. Very happy with him. I honestly was a lot more impressed with him than I thought I'd be. I wasn't very happy with him when we used him against the Jets, and they had that London game because honestly, I just didn't think he played very well. But all right, sorry, I had to spit. Either way, yeah, Jalil's performance on Sunday, he played well. He played well, and honestly, I was expecting it to be the Tyler Bidet show. That backwards hat looks stupid, but I was expecting it to be the Tyler Bidet show, but Estime. Or no, I was expecting it to be the Harvey show, but Jalil showed his keep. Estime is on the Saints 53-man roster, so that's not a realistic possibility at this point. We did waive Audric Estime. We did cut him, and he's on the Saints 53-man roster, so we would actually have to trade an asset if we were to get him back. But either way, I don't think he'd want to come back. I wouldn't want him back here personally. I don't think it'd be beneficial if we were to, sign him back. I think it's just one of those things where all parties involved just needed to move apart from each other. Okay. I think that Estime needed to find somewhere else because honestly, in training camp, he made a lot of enemies in the local media. He did not do himself any favors. Apparently, the effort that he made was just pretty bad. And ultimately, with Audric Estime, I think people have amnesia when it comes to Estime because I remember the playoff game last year, and I was like, oh my God, this is the first time we're in the playoffs in a decade, and we're deactivating Audric Estime. So for me, this past summer, the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall for Audric Estime. I didn't see why they were going to keep him on the team. And, I could have said the same thing about Jalil, though. Like, I didn't see a reason for Jalil McLaughlin to still be on this team. But he did more than his fair share last week. Once again, running back's an easy position that's low, that's not very valuable. And honestly, you just need a guy who can run like he's not in mud during some cases. And honestly, sometimes that's more than enough. Dude, you and me both, Oliver. Like, every week last year, like around this time, around like when we were really starting to ramp up and making our push to the playoffs, after the KC game last year, I was like, this is the week Estime takes over the backfield. This is the week where it's going to be his. And then it just never happened. It never came to fruition. And you can blame the coaching staff for that. You can blame whoever you want for that. But the reality of the situation is Audric Estime was not that good of a player. he did not play very well. It felt like to me, anytime I watched Estimate, it felt like he had not that much burst. So yeah, that's how I feel about Estimate. Honestly, I feel like Jaleel was set up to fail last year. We can never commit to the run enough for someone to heal up. I get what you're saying, but I don't think Jaleel was that good either. I didn't think Jaleel played that well either. He's running behind these same exact 5 guys, or 4, I guess, with Powers out that we had last season, and I still thought we did not do a very good job run blocking. That being said, I thought the running back play was extremely poor. I didn't like the way Jalil ran for a lot of last year. I didn't think, the coaching staff, they didn't want him out there a lot because he's an undersized guy. So he's 5'8", 5'9", 187 pounds, and that's not invalid. I can't blame the coaches for that, but he also doesn't catch passes. He doesn't play special teams. He doesn't break tackles hardly unless it's early whistled for whatever reason. But yeah, so yeah, I agree. You think we're probably seeing more Prentice on third down? I 1000% think so. Like, Adam Prentice, he is a tell to the opposing defense, but when he's that good at pass blocking, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, he earned more time on third downs with that incredible block he had. So, yes, I think that we are going to see more of Prentice on third down. And, Bidet's still probably going to be a strict special teamer, like maybe change of pace guy, but Bidet should only be getting like probably 2-3 touches or snaps a game on the offensive side of the ball. I think that with him and Harvey, we should be fine. There's no J.K. Dobbins, but Jalil's good enough, I think. Yeah, I would say that he's probably good enough. Like, I think there's nobody better on a practice squad right now, but yeah. I think you're right, though. I think you are not wrong. Singleton is our weak link. Nice dude, but he's a pile jumper. Sternad and Dre should be the starters. Agreed. I agree. And Singleton has really turned it around. Like, he started the year terribly. Like, throughout week 2 against the Indianapolis Colts, I was like, this guy doesn't have it anymore. I was like, this guy should have never been on this team in the first place. But, yeah. So, that's how I feel about that. Now, I will say Singleton being a culture dude, that matters a lot to this organization. They've made it appear as such, so whatever. But, yeah. Singleton is not that good. I agree with you. And I'd be very surprised if he returned to this team next year. Thoughts on JK coming back next season? I'd be all for it. I think it needs to be like another heavily incentive-based contract with a low base salary. But that being said, yeah. Singleton gets too much hate, in my opinion. He's been playing a lot better. Yeah, I probably am too critical of him, but I don't blame him for being terrible in coverage. I blame the team for not finding a solution at inside linebacker when they completely ignored that position in the draft, completely ignored it. I mean, they brought in Greenlaw, but they probably should have re-signed Barton, if I'm being completely honest. Barton Sternad Greenlaw is a much better room than Barton Sternad or Singleton Greenlaw Sternad. So yeah. But yeah, Sternad has had an incredible year. Singleton has getting too much hate. He's been playing a lot better. Yeah, once again, probably one of those guys that I probably hate on a little too much, but I don't apologize for how I felt about Singleton after the first month of the year. That being said, I promise, I had no idea what he was dealing with. Once he's off this team, I promise no more slander. Because once again, it wasn't his fault that he was thrust into this situation this past year. It was the team's fault. I was about to say, like, what? I hate Brandon Aiyuk's attitude, so you can have him. And then you say, I'm going to miss Brandon Aiyuk. That's so funny. That's so funny. So which one is it, Mateo? Which one is it? You hate Aiyuk or you're going to miss Brandon Aiyuk? I mean, maybe it's one of those, like, I'm sad it didn't work out sort of things. Wonder if we draft a running back for the third year in a row. We probably will. If not, I'd be pretty disappointed. But yeah. Josie Jewell is a free agent. I mean, the thing is, picking up Josie Jewell doesn't make us better this upcoming year. Like, that's the thing. I don't think picking up Josie Jewell makes us that much better this upcoming year. Much like I don't think replacing Singleton makes us better either. All right, cool. Cool. Either way. Sorry, my camera's going kind of haywire. I think you're right, Roan. I think a lot of it was contingent on Drew Sanders being the guy in this room. or being the inside linebacker too. And, it just didn't work out. I still would have liked for them to have made at least one more acquisition in the inside linebacker room, but whatever. Such is life. But yeah, I thought Sanders would also be healthy this year. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out. And when your depth is bad at a certain position, the misses that you have are magnified. And Drew Sanders right now is a miss at third round linebacker. You think about other third round misses we've had, Dulcich and Sanders have both been magnified because of the fact that we were trash at both positions. It happened for a while now. So yeah. Hold on. Ah, shit. Sorry, y'all. Okay, sorry. All right, either way, yeah, that's why. Do we have a feeling that Payton is keeping his bag of plays for the playoffs? No, it'd be really stupid if he was. It'd be really stupid if he was, just not doing anything and he was keeping his plays like based on how poor we've looked at a lot of points this year. It'd be really stupid if that were the case. I do miss Barton, and letting him go after he had such a great year made me sad. Yeah, man. You must like Corona Reed though, right? But yeah, I agree that seeing him go was sad. I get why they did it, but yeah, because they did need to upgrade. Like Barton showed last December that he's not a pivotal guy. He's not a guy who can carry the room, but he should have never been asked to do that. No Bromo, but I'm watching him in the shower. Hey, it's perfectly fine. I watch YouTube in the shower all the time, dude. Broncos are probably going to win the Super Bowl. This is a 49ers fan saying this, so I appreciate you thinking that highly of our team. If they keep Alex Singleton, no one cares about assisted tackles. Look at his solo tackles, and Singleton is overrated. Yeah, agreed. Like Singleton, if you're one of those people that likes box score defense, which I sure as heck don't, because playing defense does not show up in the box score. It just flat out doesn't. Singleton is not that good. Singleton's very overrated. I agree. That being said, he has played better. But agreed. Like, he's not that good of a player anymore. That being said, I get why the front office wanted to keep him around. He's clearly an important piece of what they want to do. So, yeah. One sec. I'm going to restart my camera real quick, but I'm going to switch to my webcam really quick. All right. I'm going to restart my camera here real quick. I love RJ Harvey, don't get me wrong, but I am very sad we didn't get Cam Scatterbo. Yeah, I agree. Like, Scatterbo was really good. I don't know why he fell so far under the radar during the draft process, but yeah, I agree. I'm pretty sad we didn't get him too, but I don't know. I would absolutely hate Payton for that, man. Keeping Alex Singleton, oh, yeah. Yeah. No Bromo, oh, yeah. I remember watching this. Give Eric Hendricks a call. I'd be fine with that. The thing is, though, we don't need like linebacker depth right now, so I don't see why everybody's like. I wonder how this Singleton thing came up because I don't know, but Singleton will be back for the playoffs, and I agree that he should be the third linebacker on the field, but we'll see. You love Utes fan. You love Corona Reed, Loner Reed, Ellis, and Bowles. Now, the next thing is once Dalton Kincaid is released by Buffalo, the only thing that's left for us to do is snag him on up. If Aiyuk is released, does he go on waivers and do you keep him for next year if claimed? So here's what happens. If Aiyuk is released and you claim him on waivers, then yes, you would keep him or I don't know about the rules about like keeping a guy, like, not being able to cut him or whatever. That being said, you would have to take on his contract. You would have to take on the current contract, and no team is going to take on Aiyuk's contract in waivers. That being said, like, then if he gets cut and clears waivers, then he's free to sign with anyone. So, yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna stop sharing this random tab I have open. Okay. All right, either way. Thoughts on all the Riley Moss hate? I get it. I do. That being said, you guys know where my loyalties lie. I ride with my dogs, of course. The big problem to me is that I feel like Riley Moss, I felt like I was a pretty stark defender of Riley Moss throughout this time period. I felt like I was a pretty stark defender of everything that he had done. Or am I gonna get a focus? Hold on. Sorry. All right, whatever. Once again, I'm gonna restart my camera real quick. See if that fixes anything. Here. Hold on. One sec. My camera's almost back on. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, a little better, but um I get it. I do because, this was the last week. This past week was the week where I was just like, all right, I'll give it to the Riley Moss hater circle, whatever. I'll give it to all of them because Riley Moss did not need to interfere on the Hollywood Brown, like 3rd and 17 or whatever. The illegal contact was a joke. Okay, that being said, he is not being officiated fairly. Like, it is clear discrimination what the NFL is doing to Riley Moss. Like, no doubt about it. Because they don't want a white corner to have success. Like, they were very mad that Cooper DeJean picked off Mahomes in the Super Bowl and ran it back. And unfortunately, now Riley Moss is paying the price for that. Would love Dallin Bentley between 4th and 7th round. Maybe. Who are your top 3 free agents we need to keep this coming year? First of all, Jaquan McMillan is a restricted free agent, so he is number 1 on my list. He's a restricted free agent, but that doesn't mean he's free to sign with any team. It just means that he is pale interference. That's funny. Jaquan McMillan is a free agent. He's a restricted free agent, meaning he's not free to go elsewhere. Like 99.9% chance that he's back with the team next year. So he is my number 1, even though I'm not scared about losing him. 2 is John Franklin Myers. I really want us to re-sign JFM. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to get it done. I think you drafted Savion Jones in the 3rd round for a reason. And I think, adding another contract to the D-line, then you have Cooper, you have Allen, you have Benito, and you have JFM, all big contract dudes. Like, I don't know. I don't really like that idea, especially when Jones is making 10 and Roach needs to get an extension. And speaking of Roach, he's my number 3. I think we need to keep this D-line as strong as possible, so I want Roach to be the 3rd best. And you saw what our run stopping looked like without Roach against Indianapolis. It was bad. It was just flat out bad. So to answer your question, Jaquan, even though he's not going anywhere, he's a restricted free agent. But UFAs are JFM, and another UFA is Malcolm Roach. So those are my top 3. Wish Corona would get a shot at some more plays. I agree, but he is on IR right now. So hopefully, I don't think he's ever going to do whatever. I don't think he's going to be back. Maybe he is like late December, but we'll see. Would you have gotten Bucky over Troy in the 3rd had you known? I'm still bitter Bucky was there. Yes. With Bucky Irving might be one of the most talented running backs in football. Like, I know his athletic score is not off the charts, but anytime he just gets the ball, he just makes plays. And I think the body of work from Bucky Irving right now is stronger than the body of work from Troy Franklin as far as the NFL's sake. So, yes, Bucky Irving is probably the guy I go with here. If I had known, if I had a crystal ball, but yeah. Not to say that I'm unhappy with Troy, but I think it's been a roller coaster. Dallin Bentley's a dog. He is a dog. Has caught my attention when watching Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu at Utah. Yeah. Fano and Lomu are dogs too. Yes. Bentley is one of my guys in the draft for sure. I love the draft talk. Like, I love talking draft with y'all, so I can't wait to be able to do these when you guys are when it's draft season. Hey, hi Seth Eroyd. I hope you're having an amazing night. Glad you got to hop into the stream. Word on the street is he might try one more year in college. I hope not, because I want all these draft classes to be as loaded as possible, but I hope he doesn't. All depends on draft stock. This is true, especially with NIL now. Now, I don't imagine Utah is a very strong NIL, even though they've been a pretty good team in college football the past few years. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Justice for Riley Moss. Agreed. Pale interference. This makes me laugh. Definitely re-sign Roach. Absolutely. Oh, hey there. Hi, Seth Eoid. 2 free agents from other teams that I want this upcoming year. This is a really good question. Honestly, I have not looked at the free agent class like too in depth. But with everything I've seen so far, I am anything but impressed with this free agent class. So, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, I would like those guys. Tyler Algier is going to be a free agent too, but those are the only guys that I really have on my radar right now. I think the rest of this free agent class is looking pretty sad. Linderbaum would be really cool, but guys like that just do not leave the organization that they came from. Is he really? I feel like that freshman tight end you guys have, JJB, is amazing from what I've seen from him. Maybe what's his name? We'll see. Breece, yeah, Walker is an interesting choice. I don't think Walker's like that great, but he definitely adds some juice to this running back room, and I think we do need just guys that have juice. You know what I'm saying? Walker actually stepped out of a really bad tackle by Alex Singleton not that long ago. JJ Buchanan is a freak athlete, as well as Hunter Andrews. Man, I missed the Pac-12. I miss watching, what's it called? I miss watching Pac-12 after dark. Underrated running back will be Wayshawn Parker. We'll see. Maybe all these Utes, the Broncos probably can't help themselves with all these Utes players. So you can one of them is probably going to end up on this team. Yeah, if you can't get Linderbaum, the problem is, yeah, like I said, I just don't think that the Ravens let that guy go. Hey. Oh, hey, buddy. Wattenberg has really shaped up. He has. Before I answer the questions from Seth and T-Fishes, I'm going to say this. Alex Singleton is the best when it comes to jumping on the pile 8 yards downfield. Yeah, because that's so helpful. I'm going to switch to the horse head. All right. Tyler Algier would not be a bad signing. He had 1K his rookie year. He did. I liked him ever since he was at BYU, and he was good. Unfortunately, they drafted Bijan 8th overall, and that was kind of the end of his ceiling in the NFL. But anytime he's gotten the chance, like, he is a quality player. Wattenberg has really shaped up. What I'll say about this is he still drives me crazy with the snaps. I just realized that wasn't snaps, but I dropped one. Yes, thank you, Oliver. I appreciate you. Check out my other content. Love to see that. But Wattenberg has really shaped up. So here's what I have to say about Wattenberg. I get why the local media was dunking all over him the first half of the year. I think he has really gotten a lot better. And he's not the worst center in the world. But he is one we can upgrade upon. Like, if the Broncos decide to go free agent center or draft, then I wouldn't be surprised at all for centers. But yeah, so Wattenberg has really shaped up. It wouldn't surprise me if they extended him because ultimately he is a free agent next year. But yeah, he has really shaped up, but we can still upgrade. That's how I feel about this. Now, if the team decides to, If the team decides to keep Singleton or keep Wattenberg, then by all means. Are you on Twitter? I am at Kodiak Broncos, same as on here. Rather Wattenberg get a bag from a different team. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I don't think we get better by letting him walk. I truly don't. But if you have a plan in place to replace him and you can get a high quality center in free agency or the draft even, then that'd be ideal. First 5 picks, what positions are you filling? All right. So obviously we don't know what free agency looks like yet. That being said, here you go. No order, by the way. Interior offensive line, tight end, defensive line, linebacker, receiver. The only one that I really, really hope we don't do, I hope we don't go edge and I hope we don't go corner. Definitely hope we don't go quarterback because honestly, I think, looking at edge, looking at corner, looking at all those, like the skin and bones, it's perfectly fine for the team. Like, we're not losing any guys. We're not expected to. And yeah, you want to keep your pipeline strong at those positions, but bring in quality UDFAs. Free agents are going to be ready to hop ship, come here in a heartbeat. Yeah, they are. I mean, they already were this past offseason. Like, you had high ceiling guys like Greenlaw and Hufunga, guys who are, have all pro potential. You had Evan Ingram, who was pretty highly regarded tight end. You had J.K. Dobbins, who 31 other teams could have had, and he still chose you. But still, yeah. Bump my music, Bob Pavelli on all platforms. I mean, hey, if you're gonna give me a comment, I'll give you the platform. Love me some Singleton. Greenlaw had a guy catch a pass right in front of him and get a first down before he caught up. If that was Singleton, that would have been the narrative. Yeah, I agree. But and Greenlaw has not been like the game changer yet, but he's been a very good player. And Hufanga and Greenlaw, they both missed their tackles. So that's crazy. But yeah. So we'll see. Basically, the Cushenberry situation all over again. Yeah, I agree. Like, this is Lloyd Cushenberry was never really that good. I don't think he's been that good in Tennessee. But, when the Broncos are very resource strapped, so they had basically no choice but to start a fifth-round rookie in 2022. Luckily, Wahlberg is pretty good at pass pro, but he's not that good. He's bad at run blocking. If we lose Vance Joseph, what's the dream pickup for defensive coordinator? I think we already have our defensive coordinator in house, and I'd be really happy if Jim Leonhard got a shot. I remember Tim Tebow ran past him, Jim Leonhard specifically, to win the game for the Broncos in 2011 against the Jets. And I also remember Jim Leonhard getting an interception for us in 2012, and I remember him spiking the ball and getting a delay of game penalty. Fuck you, heavy playoff from Norwalk, California. I appreciate you. Man. I hit you up on Twitter. Thank you for all your engagement, Oliver. Really fun time talking to you tonight. By the way, the Greenlaw situation, that reminds me, Evan was working through injuries. I imagine we see his role and snap increase. Yeah, I agree. Like, I also imagine we see his effectiveness increase as the season goes along, because this is still a brand new system to him, and he didn't have the luxury of like a full offseason like Hufanga did. So yeah. 4 out of 5, baby. Heck yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll act like I do. 4 out of 5, baby. Cup and Debo wanted to come here too. I thought we wanted Cup. I didn't think he wanted to come here. It was like either down to us or Seattle for Cup. And Debo wanted to come here. Yeah. I think, Debo probably had some interest, but I don't know. We'll see. Like, the problem with Debo is we already had a guy who did what he does, and we had a guy that did it really well in Marvin Mims. Now, Marvin's obviously missed talent, but yeah. Can see us double dipping at certain positions. Agreed. Like tight end, Green Bay did it back in 2023 with Kraft and Musgrave, and yeah, it kind of rebuilt their whole room. So yeah, we'll see. But Greenlaw doesn't have a perfect QBR when targeted. I don't think it's that bad. Like, I don't think Singleton's allowing a perfect QBR, but Singleton when targeted is terrible in coverage. That being said, Greenlaw has actually made game-changing plays this year, and I don't think Singleton's made any like high-impact plays. I really don't. Once again, I respect Singleton. I love his energy, but the reality of the situation is probably not on this team next year. Okay. I'm all caught up on these comments, so let me see. I'm going to go back to Twitter. Hold on. This reminds me. There's about 30 of y'all in here on this lovely Friday evening on November 21st, 2025 at 10:40 Mountain Time. Welcome those of you who just watched the Mile High Huddle podcast. Singleton is last in the league for TFLs for qualifying running backs. I'm trying to think. So last in the league. So this means that he's gotten the least amount of TFLs. Yeah, the thing is, with Singleton, people talk about the fact that he racks up tackles, but like his average depth of tackle has always been pretty high. So he doesn't have like great downfield elusiveness. Once again, I don't think he's terrible. Like, I'm not unhappy that he's on this team like I was a couple months ago, but he's not a difference maker. He's honestly, in my opinion, a detriment. He's been a detriment to this team for a long time now. We'll see. Singleton was all over Scatterboo. He had the guy dropping sweet passes. That is true, but Singleton was responsible for the second Giants touchdown against Scatterboo, like the 3rd and 11. And honestly, he was responsible for the first touchdown that came too. So I know he got that nice little PB pass blocking blow up clip. That's what I was trying to say. Saludos from Monterrey, Mexico. Go Broncos. See ya, Kodiak. Yes. Elbow Rev TV. Appreciate you. Also, I know people from Monterrey, so that's cool. Singleton was all over Scatterboo, but yeah, I don't think Singleton had a very good game that game. I'm just being honest. I know he made his plays, and he always does. Like Singleton will always make a play or two, but yeah. Got a little Singleton debate going on in here tonight. Agree. Yeah. But either way, Singleton, I think he's improved a little bit this year. Like, I don't think he's been that good, but we'll see. Hold on. There was a tweet I wanted to showcase. So this was after the Giants game. Second year off an ACL. Remember Javonte, he's Green Dot Man. VJ likes him. I think he sees something we don't. I will dispute this. Second year off an ACL. He's going to be 32 next year. Okay, Javonte was like 23, 24 when he was in 2023, his second year off his ACL, 24, whatever it was. Okay. Singleton is not going to get better from here on out, regardless of how well he recovers from his ACL surgery. He was a declining player in 2023. What else happened? He does best opposite a heavy hitter. Remember Singleton and Jewell? I do. Singleton had a really good year in 2022, but this upcoming draft, you shouldn't skip out on one. Yeah, I agree. But Singleton had a really, really good year in 2022, but the problem is I think that was now a complete mirage, especially with an upgrade to Surtain and being next to Greenlaw. I think that he just still hasn't played that well, if I'm being honest. Now, once again, I like him. I like what he brings to the defense. I love his energy, but once again, he's not that good of a player. Finally, I found this. So this was shout out to Zach Seegers for tweeting this out. He said that the gap between Singleton and Sternad in passer rating allowed is greater than the gap between QB1 and QB41 in passer rating. So basically, when opposing quarterback targets Alex Singleton, they're basically 2013 Peyton Manning and somehow 14 points better with passer rating. And once again, like he had a really couple of good games against Dallas, against Houston, against the Raiders. Like he had a really, really good couple of games, but yeah. Hey, maybe Sanders finally gets off IR. Drew Sanders doesn't exist, and I've just accepted that for whatever reason. Drew Sanders just doesn't exist. He's just an idea, and yeah, I guess I'm okay with it. No, I'm kidding, but yeah. So this is what I had said. Here are the replies to this team. I said Landon said he shouldn't even be on the team this year. I said the fact that he was penciled out inside linebacker 2 after sucking 2 years ago was absolutely climbable work by the front office. And then he said shouldn't have been on the team this year. For all the positives, Denver did in the offseason, keeping Singleton off at ACL and penciling him as a starter when they could have saved $5 million by letting him go was just unfathomable. The reason I agree with this is because Singleton, like the thing that irks me about Singleton is not the fact that they brought him back, but the cap hit. $6.9 million, and they didn't even consider cutting him as far as I know. So, yeah. He does play super hard. I love his energy. I love what he brings to the defense. He's done so much good stuff in the community. He truly does bleed blue and orange, and I will forever respect him for that. And after this season, just knowing what he was going through with, cancer and everything, and the fact that he had his nut cancer or whatever, after this season, I will not say a single bad word about Alex Singleton, but he is still our problem until February 2026. Granted, he has been way better the past few weeks, but once again, I still just don't think he's that good of a football player. Sanders might be a lost cause, sadly. Yes, I think you're right. Like, if you're expecting anything out of Sanders at this point, the thing that sucks is when you miss on a third-round pick, if the cupboards are stacked, like Baron Browning was the third-round pick we missed on, and nobody gives a shit because we had Benito and Cooper both break out in a huge way. But the problem is we haven't had good inside linebacker play in a long time. So I think, people notice those more. Same with Dulcich. We hadn't had good tight end play in a long time. So they get those whatevers. Yeah. I wanted to see what Sanders could do. Dude, me too. I wonder if they activated him because they activated him for the playoff run last year. Yeah, Ellis, the fact that this guy can't stay healthy, that is concerning. Maybe I'll give him one more year. But yeah, good thing Q Robinson is a beast because honestly, I didn't like the Q Robinson pick when it was made, but now you're showing the rewards. Now you're showing the benefits. All right, Dulcich is on the fish now. He is. He's actually played pretty decently for the Dolphins. Like, hold on. Hold on. This is how Dolphins fans feel about Greg Dulcich. That's funny. At least Greg Dulcich looked decent. Greg Dulcich is awesome. He's 25 years old, too. Guys who were discarded by the rest of the league. Guys like Jack Jones, Greg Dulcich, Riley Patterson, Rasul Douglas. Wow, they did. The Dolphins are a wide roster of rejects, aren't they? Robinson is very good on special teams, and that sack he had on Mahomes to go 3rd and 1, that was crazy. Like, that was so clutch. That was insane. Dulcich is playing for the Dolphins now. Watching him blow an easy TD route shows exactly why we released him. Yeah, he's not that good. He really is not that good, and I get why we cut him because Sean Payton also hates guys that don't block, and Dulcich never blocked either, so that was bad. But he also couldn't catch passes while he was here. Bro, last week against the Commanders was sad. That was sad. It's funny watching the guys we released starting for teams across the league. That is true. That is true. Although, the thing that sucks about that is that we've had the worst tight end room in the NFL over the past 3 or 4 years. So the fact that he couldn't make an impact here and the fact that he went somewhere else, like, that says more about him in my opinion. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it is funny, isn't it? Hold on. You guys can now see my cat in 4K. Here you go. Hey, buddy. He does have great flow hair. Okay. What game are we thinking Ben Powers will be back? I have nothing to base this off of, but I think December 14th against Green Bay. Once again, nothing to base that off of other than my own personal feelings and them just telling us that December was the time frame. So I think he'll be back for the Green Bay game. The reason I say that is because against Washington, they said December. So I'm thinking that mid-December is when he's going to be back. I'm not going to, expect early December when we play the Raiders, but yeah. Why don't Ingram work? That's a really good question, man. I don't know why the Ingram thing hasn't worked here. Like, I always knew he was not a downfield playmaker. I knew he was more like a chain mover, but I don't know why it hasn't worked here. I truly don't. He's just not on the same page with Bo. Like, obviously he was hurt early on, but he doesn't look like the same player. Our cornerback 4 would start on half the teams out there. Yeah, you're right. Chris Abrams-Drain would start on half the teams out there. And Barron, too. How many more players can we pull off IR? I don't think there's a limit. I think you can pull as many as you want. But if you're talking about this upcoming week, I think we only have 1 open roster spot, so we'll see. It's the short tight end screens and 44% of snaps. Yeah. See, the thing is with option routes, you need chemistry between your quarterback and your receivers, and there's just been none of that this year. There's been no chemistry between Bo and like literally anybody who's thrown the football to, but yeah. I get why they're not doing it, but I agree. They need to try something else. Who are we rooting for, Chiefs or Colts? Colts, 1,000%. This reminds me. Hair. Also, check out my Twitter banner. This is me and my friends at the Broncos Giants game. I was scrolling through Instagram. There I am. And I saw one of my, what's it called? I saw us on this page or whatever. So yeah, this is me. This is me and my friends at the Giants game. One of my friends came from New York for that. What's the situation with Aiyuk? So Aiyuk is probably getting waived by San Francisco. A lot of this is because he has not been showing up to team meetings or whatever. But so that means that he's going to be basically available to sign with anybody in case in the event that he does clear waivers. So yeah, that's what's going on. Aiyuk is probably going to be a free agent, and a lot of teams are probably going to go after him. But here, I want to highlight this comment before I answer the Franklin one. So this is how I feel about it. I would much rather go into Lucas Oil Stadium and be the 2 seed than I would have the Broncos go be the 1 seed and have the Chiefs in the playoffs. 100%. 100%. So we are rooting for the Colts, no questions about it. We need the Chiefs out. I don't care about seeding if that happens. We'll go into Lucas Oil. We'll beat them. We were a leverage call away from doing it, and our defense just had an off day. So yeah. The way Evan runs routes doesn't signal to Bo he's up with a step. I agree. And if they send Evan on the slant, he'll blow up. This is true. But yeah. Franklin chemistry with Bo would be nice if he caught more. The Franklin chemistry with Bo, like, that is so insane to me. Also, Franklin has not been consistent enough as a wide receiver too, in my opinion. Like, I think he just flat out needs to be better. I think Franklin just flat out needs to be better. He needs to run better routes. He needs to catch the football. He has literally some of the worst hand-eye coordination I've ever seen from an athlete. But he is getting open. He's getting open at will. And the fact that he's earning all these targets, like, that says a lot about him. Singleton is looking better than the first couple games because we are putting our safeties into the box more than any other team and leaving our corners on islands. That's true, but part of this is that Hufanga and Jones are just so, like, havoc causing around the line of scrimmage that you can do this. I think you're right, though. If that PJ Locke was our safety, like last year, I think that Singleton would not be having the success that he's having the past month or so. But yeah, agreed. Here's a question: do we sign Dobbins next year? The foot sprain what isn't injury prone? I agree. That was a dirty hit. Who do you replace him with? Good question. Once again, I brought up Breece Hall. I brought up Kenneth Walker in this chat, but I think you do re-sign J.K. Dobbins. You just make it a very heavily incentive line and deal. But yeah. If Denver's in the first seed, I want the Bills in the divisional and the pass in the AFC Championship game. I agree. I want all the smoke. Wouldn't it be something to play the AFC East? Plus, I have so many friends in Boston. But yeah. I would love Broncos Patriots AFC Championship because I'll take our chances in that matchup. Taylor is a freaking beast. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's a monster. I hope he runs all over KC. Hufanga might already be my favorite player. Yeah, dude. Like, I ordered his jersey. I don't know what's going to be here. I ordered it from China, so it's not going to come in anytime soon. But, yeah, I would love for my Hufanga jersey to arrive soon. Troy's issue is he slows down on routes. He corrected the issue mid-game to complete the last 2 catches. Hater love Troy. Showing more promise in year 2 than Court did. Hot take. I'll say that's a pretty hot take because Sutton in his sophomore year was crazy. Like, I remember when we played against the Colts and the Vikings in 2019, they could not guard. Neither team could guard him. But yeah. So ultimately, I think he is showing promise. I think he is improving. It's a very promising sign with what he's showing, but the problem is I just don't know if it's going to be enough for us to win the Super Bowl. Wish we traded for Breece Hall. I'm fine with not giving assets for Breece Hall. I'm just glad that no other team got him. Like, I didn't think the key to unlocking our offense was a superstar running back. I think if they felt that way, they probably would have moved assets for him. But yeah. Hall is injury prone too. He is. He tore his ACL and then he had that foot injury last year, I think. To be honest, I love Hufanga, but Brandon Jones doesn't get enough love. I keep mistaking him for K-Jack with 22 on. I agree. Brandon Jones is not getting the recognition that he should throughout Broncos country. He's a big reason why we were able to turn around so quick. Bryant does need more targets, man. Bryant does need more targets because honestly, he, for whatever reason, is, I don't know. He's one of the highest floor rookie wide receivers we've ever seen. Where if the play is to him, he makes it. The way he blew up Nico Collins ruined the Texans, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, you guys can hear my cat meowing in the background. Glad Casey didn't grab him. I'm also very, very glad Casey didn't get him. I agree. Brandon Jones is a better center fielder than he is like a line of scrimmage guy, but still. But yes, he plays safety. But I know what you meant. I know what you meant. They can't go for Aiyuk. He's bad for the locker room. Once again, the reason I don't agree with this assessment is because, once again, Shanahan is very petty. Shanahan is very petty. You don't know what's truly going on there in San Francisco. So I'm willing to chalk that up to Shanahan being one of the pettiest coaches in the sport. And I'm willing to give Aiyuk another chance here. Like, Aiyuk 2 years ago was one of the 10 best wide receivers in the game of football. So a guy like that rarely comes available. Once again, you're not expecting him, or at least I'm not expecting him to be the same player that he was, but still. Meow. I'm going to let my cat out real quick, guys. One sec. Go. All right. Back at it again. Broncos culture is infectious. John Franklin Myers went from hired gun to bleeding orange and blue in 2 years. Yes, agreed. Broncos culture is infectious, man. And that's why I think you bring a guy that has had problems, being a culture guy, character guy, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of trading Ellis this offseason. I don't like the idea of making an area where you're strong at suddenly an area where you need to add another body. Especially when the entire point of the NFL is to get cheap guys on team-friendly deals and build the best 53-man roster you can. And Ellis is definitely a part of that. And Ellis could start for another team, 100%. I don't think diva wide receivers work on a team concept like the Broncos are built. I agree, but once again, I'm willing to chalk that up. You never know what a guy just coming in here with his old teammates like Hufanga, like Jones, who else? Who else on our team just played for the 49ers? McGlinchey. We have 4 ex-49ers on our team that are key guys. Jones, Greenlaw, Hufanga, and McGlinchey. So I think you bring them in here and you're probably going to get a different guy. I think so. So what are we doing with our Sunday, gentlemen? I'm going fishing. I'm probably still just going to watch football all day, but they might need somebody at work, so we'll see. Ellis will improve. He will. This is a really ironic comment considering I'm pretty sure this guy's a 49ers fan talking about Aiyuk, especially when you're in San Francisco. So ban user and delete their comments. All right. Hello, Seth Eoid. Hello. I don't think you trade developmental prospects. Yes, I agree. Even though you could, a counter argument to this is Vele, but I agree. I agree that you don't need to make edge depth a weakness when it's already a strength on this team. Would you take Judy back? No. It wasn't going to work out here. He clearly never wanted to be here. So I was never a huge idea. I never really loved Judy. I love the idea behind the pick. I've never been more excited for a prospect than I was when we drafted Jerry Judy back in 2020. But yeah, I would not take Judy back. I don't want him here. He was a problem causer. He was just such a bad person in the locker room. Now, the reason I'm fine with bringing Aiyuk here is because Aiyuk, I think he was a captain in San Francisco at some point. That tells me that he's not a bad dude, but Judy is literally, no. Judy showed where his priorities were last year on Monday Night Football. He wanted his big game. We got the W. He made it very clear that he wanted to have this big game, but we got the win, which matters more. You may as well get a Raiders player. Yo, KJ. I would absolutely. I'm thinking he's talking about taking Judy back. I cheered when they shipped out Judy. Me too. Like, I didn't cheer, but I was like, yeah, it just wasn't going to happen here. It wasn't going to click here. So, Sean Payton loved him. Did he though? Like, I remember before the 2023 season began, Judy. Little known fact: Judy actually asked for a trade before the 2023 season began. I don't think a lot of people know that, but Judy, after Sean Payton got hired, went into the office and was like, "Trade me." Sean Payton said, "No way. We want you to be here." And Judy played 17 games after requesting a trade. So, yeah. Franklin will be everything he can be and more next year. I hope so. Give me a diva wide receiver. I could pass on a guy like Stephon Diggs, but I'd be happy with a guy like Aiyuk. I thought it was more if we needed draft capital and couldn't pay him. I mean, a little bit of both here. Like, dead cap hit dead cap hit of $50 million. Yeah, like your cap is a little restricted, but signing Judy for 3 years, $60 million would have been terrible based on how little he actually accomplished here. Wilson loved Court. Judy is supposed to be a wide receiver 1. What does that tell you? Well, remember when at the end of 2022, Judy went nuclear. Judy went absolutely nuclear in 2022. I agree that he did jack squat, but the fact is he suited up for all 17 games, which was crazy. I think that's the only... Wait, Judy wants to be traded from Cleveland? Oh, shit. I was at work, so I didn't know. Huh. I didn't see anything about like him requesting a trade or whatever, but yeah. Judy dropped the ball nearly every time. Yeah, Judy had bad hands. He was a bad guy, and he was, causing problems in the locker room. Makes Franklin looks like he has Brian's hands. That's funny. Nah, it's completely fine. Like I did find some stuff about Judy being unhappy that Shadur was named the starter or whatever, but yeah. I think he's just getting frustrated. He probably is getting frustrated. So. Oh, well. You live and learn. You wanted to get traded to a shitty team, and here you go. Oh, no, if it's not the consequences of my actions. Hear how much we gave Big Nuts Lutz? I did not. I was actually at work while this happened, too. I can't find anything about the term for Will Lutz's new contract, but I will try to report it as soon as I can. Do you have any interesting trade targets in the offseason? I haven't really thought about this too much, but yeah. Interesting trade targets. That's a good question. I'll come back to this one. I'll have to think about this a little more. Russ can't throw in the middle of the field. I remember Judy being wide open so many times. That's true, but Russ also threw 16 passes that whole 2023 season in between the numbers in the intermediate part of the field, which is terrible. 10 to 19 yards downfield, which is just awful. So, yeah. Judy is already frustrated. Always the Chiefs should pick him up, though. I hope I didn't just roll that into existence. That's true, but KC is not a place where you just throw any receiver in and they succeed. You think about Sky Moore, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They've done a pretty bad job at developing their offensive skill talent over there. So, I don't know. Even if he went to the Chiefs, I would be like, fine, whatever. I'm streaming the Raiders defense this week. Nothing personal, Shadur. I'm streaming, I think, Baltimore. Let me check who I'm streaming. KC doesn't have the cap space to make any big moves. You are correct. And even then, I just don't think KC's offense is a place where any receiver can just come in and succeed. Who am I streaming this week in fantasy? Oh yeah, I'm streaming Baltimore against Tyrod Taylor. I'm worried about getting into the playoffs with cold weather and not having a run game. I'm not, because our defense can keep us in any football game. Now, I get what you're saying, but we do need to establish the run before, after whatever. After the playoffs begin. Chiefs' problem is the line. Josh Simmons is playing really well. You have Tooney, or no, you traded Tooney, but you have Trey Smith, you have Creed Humphrey, and then right tackle, yeah, Juwan Taylor's not very good. And then Sua Matai left guard, I didn't think was that good against us either, but so maybe, but also they are just not willing to commit to the run game organizationally. You know, it's just not within them to invest in a run game. They had Pacheco, who was a 7th-round pick, but that was kind of it. Creed is the best in the game at center. He is. He is. I don't know why so many teams saw a 10 relative athletic score, and because he was left-handed, they were just like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. I'm starting to get tired, so I'll go for a little bit longer. The Bills can beat you with pressure and your offense is deep balls. Good luck, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. Although, looks like the Bills weren't getting that much pressure. Love the foam horse head. Oh my God, I love the foam horse head too. I love the foam head. When they can, Andy abandons the run teams with good defenses know how to drop some drop into coverage. Yep. Mahomes is not the same player that he once was. I don't think that's a question, but yeah, that's, I think organizationally it's just a lack of commitment, because Kareem Hunt did have some decent chunk carries against us. But yeah, even though we sold out all game to stop the pass, they still did some nice things on the ground. But going back to this comment, Buffalo looks like they're not going to beat us with pressure because Joey Bosa looks washed out there. And the Houston trenches were just dominant last night. And Houston has one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. So that was bad. That was a really, really bad performance by Buffalo. What's your prediction on the remaining schedule? Actually, let's talk about this. WWWWL. W. So I don't think, man, it's really hard for me to think that we're going to go 14-3, but I think the only game we actually drop is right here. Not because the Chiefs are better than us, but I think actually the opposite. But wait, hold on. Sorry, I didn't add this to the stage. Hunt was going to leave the game on a stretcher if he kept running like that. It wasn't a lack of commitment. I didn't notice him being like exceptionally violent when he ran the football, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have to rewatch. They just need to rebuild with actual good players and not pay bums. That's why the Chiefs are going downhill. Yeah, I agree. Like, they've been so bad in the draft that they need to pay up for these mediocre players. It's like the Patriots after the Belichick era. Loved beat the Chargers, man. It seems like they got a number. I do too. I think they do too. That being said, without Slater and without Alt, they do not scare me at all. WWWWL. Only because Arrowhead has been a house of horrors for us. And honestly, if Kansas City drops 3 games until this one, then that would be amazing, because then we'd have a chance to ruin their season and knock them out of the playoffs. But before 2024, you have to remember we had Herbert's number. Okay, we swept the Chargers in 2023. We beat the Chargers in 2022, week 18, when they were going to the game with their backups. 2021, we beat the Chargers at home, had no business doing so in November, end of November, I think early December 2021. We beat the Chargers 28-13. That was the year when the Chargers made the playoffs. So 2020, we also beat the Herbert on the walk-off. So Herbert, you can say he's had our number the past 3 games, but before that, we had his number. I'm so thirsty. In Mile High, though, good luck. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, like, that's just what it boils down to, man. Thursday Night Football, we already had a Thursday night divisional game against a divisional rival this year. Completely barfed, should have lost that game. Got really lucky that shitty team won it even less than we did. Chiefs desperate. They could be playing for their playoff lives that game. And while it'd be sick to just knock them out or whatever, it is a tall order. Once again, our defense can hang with anyone, but the offense, we'll see. We will see. But yeah, I think I predicted us to beat the Chiefs before the year began, but yeah. Good news, Chiefs could win. Good news, the Chiefs could lose. Yeah, I mean, you basically summed it up right there. Okay, then win out. I think the way this squad hates the Chiefs, the way the Shanahan teams hate the Raiders, I think that Christmas game is a blowout. Man, I hope so. I really, really hope that game is a blowout because that would be amazing to end Kansas City season on a blowout loss at home to Arrowhead. But yeah, I just hope we sing the starters week 18. That'd be sick. That'd be sick. To be honest, I've had that game checked since the beginning of the season. If they were going to get our GOAT, it was last week. Yeah, I think you're right too. I hope we beat the Chiefs and Bo Nix takes Taylor Swift home with him. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that comment. Like, would it be funny? Yes. Would it be good? No, not necessarily. Also, I really don't like Taylor Swift, so. Yeah. A lot of good energy in this chat tonight, though. A lot of good energy in this chat. But yeah, I'm going to go game by game real quick. This one, I hope Daniels plays because I want us to be battle tested by the time of the playoffs happening. And if we can't beat a Commanders team that's absolutely hobbling at this point, even with Jane Daniels, then it's going to be a serious wake-up call for us, even after the bye. Raiders, we should win that one. The Raiders will always play us tough. We know that. But, we should come out of that game as a winner. Green Bay, their offense cannot do anything without Tucker Kraft. Jacksonville, not ready to beat us yet. Like, Jacksonville could be playing a very competitive brand of football down the stretch in December. But, yeah. He's married. Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't really like that comment too much. But did you see what Barron said about Kelsey? Yes, I did. And I love a little trolling there. So I'm all for dunking on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I think that family is so hateable. Travis Kelce is the most annoying athlete, most hateable football player I've ever seen besides the obvious ones like Deshaun Watson and Tyreek Hill. Have Taylor write me a song. Yeah, I saw that. Then he backtracked and he was like, "No, guys, I'm actually trying to become an artist." Like, nope, nothing personal. Bo isn't Roethlisberger, and he's an upstanding Christian family man. So, yeah. Hi, Dremo. Hope you're having an amazing Friday night. So, based on the report, the way I interpreted that it's going to happen after the season. And unless there's something that comes out, like, I was wondering why he hadn't played. Yet because it's been 13 months since he tore his ACL. And by now I was like, he probably should have been on the field. But he's expected to be cut at the end of the season, I believe. He is not cut yet. Like, they've done nothing officially, but they are going to waive him. And there's going to be nobody that can even claim a $30 million a year contract on waivers. And you'd be really stupid to, based on what he looks like right now and based on what he looked like when we saw him. But yeah. You'd be really, really foolish to claim him on waivers. But if he clears waivers, he is a free agent. He's free to sign with anyone. He is free to sign with anyone. There's about 41 of y'all in here on this lovely Friday night, November 21st, 2025, 11:16 Mountain Standard Time. love chilling with y'all. And yeah, it's a crazy story. Like, I know. But once again, I have been saying this throughout the stream. Shanahan and Aiyuk have just never matched well together. Shanahan and Aiyuk have just never matched well. Here you go, Cobra. Well, no thank you, Broncos Wire. Here we go. Here we go. So, Barron, he posted this. Jade Barron posted this after we beat the Chiefs. He said, let me see. Tell Swift put me on a song right now. This is hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. That's so funny. Commanders or Broncos? Yes, agreed. Hopefully the refs don't give in to Patty's penalty tantrums in Arrowhead when he gets sacked by us. You already know they're going to. Like, let's just be honest. Sad the refs robbed the robber baron of his pick six. Agreed. Agreed. But yeah, it was about 34. Bro, Baron is emerging as our Akeem. The work's good, dude. Brian giving the Mile High Salute was amazing. Dude, that's insane. Like, organizationally, I love stuff like that. Yeah, I've been going for about an hour 20. I'll see if I can keep going for like the next. I want to lay down. Or actually, I can't lay down because then I can't like do my mic or whatever. I'll lay sideways like this. I want to see Riley, K80, and Barron rotating the boundary. I do too, except Barron's been so good in that like shutdown tight end role. I don't think the non-call was that bad. I do think he pushed off, but I don't hate the non-call. The reason I don't hate the non-call is because Troy Franklin did something very similar on the game-winning catch. So at least they're consistent. But he did extend. He did push Jaquan off, but at least they were consistent with the calls. That illegal contact was horseshit, though. Absolutely horseshit. So yes, I think he pushed off. I don't hate the non-call, though. I know that's not really a good answer, but yeah. I know Manning does call the Broncos we still. And when I rewatched the game, I mean, in real time, obviously I thought that he pushed off, but when I watched the replay, I was like, I don't hate that on-call, truthfully. Yes, Manning is a Bronco, no doubt about it. Dude, that's sick. What does Elway do with the organization now? Is he like still like day-to-day involved in stuff? That's interesting to me. Mahomes tried to point at the end of the play like he knew we were going to call God. He's unbearable. Yeah, I agree. He was like, I hate how he's always like this. I hate how he's always like this. I hate how he's always like flexing and taunting. I'd rather Riley get beat trying to attack the ball than just grab the player. Dude, I agree. And that's something that Jim Leonard and Vance Joseph have to coach out of him. And wow, there are 45 of you in here across both streams. Oh my God, this is the best After Dark I've had so far. 11:21 p.m. and what's up? I was getting a little tired, but Mark just invigorated some life into this live stream. What's up, Mark? Yeah. Oh my God. And now I got my IRL boy Alex in here. Alex Stucker in here. Let's go. I hated the second OPI on Moss or DPI on Moss. I didn't hate that call. I thought both DPIs on Moss were valid. I thought the illegal contact was horseshit though. The reason I was frustrated with Moss after that one was because you didn't need to do that. Like the ball, it was not getting completed. What do we need to win the Super Bowl? I think it starts with quarterback for me. Like even with the run game, I think Bo Nix has been, a little wishy-washy this year. I think he's just been too up and down or whatever. But yeah. So yeah, that's the way I'm feeling. I think that Bo Nix just needs to be more consistent, and I believe he will after the bye. I think he will after the bye. Kelsey made Hufanga whiff. Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. Hufanga just flat out missed. Like, I don't even think Kelsey did anything crazy on that play, but Hufanga, usually a sure tackler, did that. One of the only bad things I can think that Hufanga did. Same with slamming the Chargers dude on the final drive of the game. Elway has been giving him advice. That's great. The problem is Elway also gave Drew Lock advice, and that didn't go anywhere. But I get what you're saying. Like, that's still good. But yeah, what's up? Alex, I hope you're having a fun time in Georgia. I actually went to the Titans and Giants game with this guy right here this year. When we went to Cleveland and Indianapolis last year. Crushing? Nah, man, you're crushing it, Mark. And I'm making long form videos every day, and it's sick. No, not Mahomes tapping his helmet. Oh my God, that was so funny when Mahomes was like this and like, where's the call? When they did his whatever. That was so funny. Josh Simmons holding Benito. Yeah, I agree. Like, I still think KC got the calls tilted in their favor just a little bit on Sunday. Like, you cannot convince me that official did not run into Sean Payton on purpose. Like, I saw the view of it, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. At least Kelsey's record-breaking touchdowns for the Chiefs came at a loss. Yeah, agreed. That makes it even sweeter. Consultant. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Love this Chagosium, bro. Oh, yeah, we love this Chagosium. We need Dameon Pierce. I mean, yeah, I think that'd be a nice little addition. I don't know who he plays over, though. That's the only problem. But I'd be fine with having 4 running backs if we picked up Pierce. Hufanga said he was super sweaty. He wasn't expecting to slip. Wow. That's crazy. Did he have like a post game after the show? Or whatever? Also, Stux, you didn't need to give me the super chat. He wasn't expecting to slip. That's kind of crazy, though. Who are the Broncos more likely to sign between Audric Estime or neither? I think Pierce is more likely, but Estime is on the Saints 53 right now, so we didn't need to do that. So we would actually need to trade assets to get him back, so we can't like just sign him or whatever. Plus, Estime is not coming back. Like, I think a lot of people like the idea of him, but he's not coming back. I think it was just a burn bridge between this coaching staff and the player. Yes, sir. Mark, what's up, my dude? Yes, thank you. Sethuoid. Yeah, everyone say what's up to Mark in the chat. Once again, you didn't need to give me 1, but you also didn't need to give me 2. Like, what the hell is this for? Either way, I hope you're enjoying Atlanta. Holy shit. Yo, thank you, T-Fishes. Once again, anytime I get super chats, y'all are amazing. And I guess you're right, because I was on the phone with Stucker right here after I got my new camera, and that was pretty sick, but yeah. And matched, thank you, Two Fishes. Once again, go check out Two Fishes. If you guys, once he finally starts making his Broncos content, then yeah, I can't wait for that to be the case. But yeah, I appreciate you, T Fishes, and obviously having T in here the past 3-4 nights has really made this stream pretty awesome. I got to show him and David a lot of the fun stuff that I was doing last night on my old channel and how I was just rage baiting NFL fans. So yeah. Also, I am going to take this time to plug something that I am doing right now. I am back posting on my NFL channel. But I'm mainly posting rage bait. Haven't seen Josh Allen. That was, if they don't do anything this year, clean house. Either way, I posted a short today talking about how the Bills need to let everybody go and the Bills need to tear it down and rebuild. I also made a short saying that Justin Fields has not been given a fair chance in the NFL so far. So you guys need to go check me out. I just rage bait and I just say that it's everybody else's fault. Kelsey took a page from the Broncos playbook and rubbed Vaseline all over the jersey. That's funny. Oh my God. Y'all are making it rain over here. Holy cow. Once again, I'm just a guy who comes on here and just talks Broncos late at night. So you guys never feel obligated to give me anything, but I appreciate your support regardless. I appreciate your support and, you guys, donating and me thinking, me becoming one of your favorite Broncos creators, because that's what all this is to me. It's all about, building a platform, and eventually I want to get hired by a real station and do this for a living. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all regardless, even though, trust me, I do not. Yeah, I don't know. Holy cow. Oh my God. Y'all. Oh my God. T-Fishes. Y'all are making it rain over here. Holy shit. Holy shit. I'm at a loss for words. I genuinely don't know what to say with all this money I'm getting. I genuinely don't know what to say. Oh my God. That's so sick. That's so sick. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate y'all so much. And once again, I can't say it enough, but once T-Fishes and Seth Hewitt make their Broncos channels, you guys should go check them out because they always leave great, really, really great stuff. You've always had really solid down-to-earth takes too. I like the essays that you write after the games too. They're funny. But talking about this, do you think Barron keeps 23? Should he? Put me on to all the other guys in the group. If you create a channel, then I'll add you to the Broncos Discord that I have with like David and Mark and Jeremy and Zach Seeger's in there too. Strez, Brandon Perna's in there too. If you're gonna do Friday night late nights, us tradies will be in here. That's sick. That's sick. I mean, hell yeah, man. I did late night last night and I only had like 3 viewers for most of the stream, but hey, now I've got 29 across all my streams right now. Do you think Barron keeps 23? Should he? I think it's tough on him. Honestly, I think I think he should keep 23. The reason I'm saying that is because I would say a single-digit number for him would be so tough, but there's almost none available that I can think of for Denver. I think 1 would be really, really tough, but Ingram already has it. Lutz is 3. Who's 4? I can't even remember who's 4. I think Stiddy? No. 5, 6, 7. Obviously, 7's not available, but you know what I mean. 9 is Hufanga, so I think a single digit would be sick, but yeah, Barron 23 would be so fire. Hey, dude, I ran into you last year. You've always had really solid down-to-earth takes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I started last year. I only had a couple hundred subscribers, so that's pretty fire. Being 24 is too much pressure. For some reason, Adam Pac-Man Jones fucking got that number. I don't know why. But yeah, last year I only had 450 subscribers by the time the Bills playoff game was going. Yeah, we'll see. Legacy media is dying. You're better off building up your own channels. I agree with this assessment, Dennis. The problem is I just want to do this for a living, so I wouldn't mind, kicking the tires at Altitude or 104.3 or whoever wanted to hire me. If a position ever became available. But yes, I agree that, sports media, nobody really listens to radio anymore in a sense, but yeah. I started watching you because I agreed with a lot of your takes. I appreciate you. But it's less to me about agreeing with this, and it's more about building a community to talk Broncos. When people on TikTok disagree with me, I'm always in my comments, doing whatever. But yeah, 23 is sick. 23 is fire. 23 is awesome. I got to bet that Hufanga gets a pick before Ingram gets another TD. Dumb bet or low-key good? I'm going to say Ingram has not really been utilized in the red zone, so I think that's low-key good. I think Hufanga, if he just spends an hour with the Jugs machine this bye week, literally any day during the bye week, I think he'd probably have at least another pick or two before the year ends. And yeah. It is unique. 23 is a running back number, but Barron does so well with it. I mean, he could get 4-0. Is Sam still on the squad? I think Sam Ellinger is still on the practice squad, but we'll see. We will see. Bro, they should bring you to DMVR in a couple of years. Yeah, I mean, I'd do it for free. But yeah, and once again, I like just creating a community to talk Broncos because that's all it's about, in my opinion. I'm mainly a bigger presence on TikTok these days, though. Like, obviously, I started here, but I haven't made as much long form content here. But I am gonna make videos every day again since I just got this new sick camera. Ingram is one slant on the 25 away. The problem is Ingram just hasn't shown me that juice this year, and also he's more of a downfield chain mover more than anything else. So. Or I should say chain mover more than anything else rather than a downfield vertical threat. So I get what you're saying, but yeah. I get what you're saying. Oh, my boy Stucker just texted me. But yeah, 35 of y'all in here on this amazing night. Denver Broncos tonight, November 21st, 2025. Brought to you by Kodiak Broncos. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing these on Friday, Saturday nights. I'm going to keep doing these as long as I can. Now, I will say I am having nose surgery next week, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. Oh, are you talking about like oh, yeah. If you could go to the games or bars and ask the fans questions, you'll crush it for the short form content. Are you talking about like what's the, me holding a microphone? What's the number one thing you would sacrifice for a Broncos Super Bowl? And then me like passing it to the other person and then them saying something super out of pocket. Like, honestly, yeah, you're right. You're right, T-Fishes. Maybe I should start doing that. One more Franklin drop, and we need to start a GoFundMe for a jugs machine for him. Hold on. We don't need to GoFundMe shit, okay? Look, you see? Hold on. Okay, this is a pitching machine. What about football? Here we go. So it's about $4,000, okay? Jugs machine is about $4,000. What if... Hold on. I'm looking up something right now. Hold on. Okay, we can encourage him to get it, but we shouldn't be doing a GoFundMe for shit. Look at how much money he's making. Like, he definitely has. I promise you, has the money to go out and buy a jugs machine if he really wants to. Like, bro, look at the salary. A jugs machine's like $4,000. I know, like, we can encourage him to use it, but yeah. Elevate A.T. Perry. The only time I'd be fine with elevating A.T. Perry is if it's week 18 and we can't move up or down in the standings. I would like to see what he can do too, but if he can't find his way onto the field right now, then, like, how bad is he? Walmart sells an aerial attack jugs machine for $3,000. I mean, heck, Penner could probably get Franklin that for free if he really wanted to. I think that's the only value Zach Wilson really added to the roster. Yeah. We'll see. Either way, I'm almost out of water. Rinse my mouth again. I love spitting. Dude, this mouthwash is great. I don't know what the brand is, but we'll see. Yeah, agreed. T-Fish is like, this is just bingo. If A.T. Perry didn't get a shot when Mims was down, that tells you all you need to know about what this team thinks of him. Yeah, like, I think if he was going to play one person's role, it would have been the Vela role, and then Vela was traded, and he still wasn't activated, and Mims was out, and they elevated Michael Bandy instead. Tells you all you need to know. He was throwing the dude's balls. Yeah, I agree. Like, Zach Wilson is definitely a third-string quarterback that I'd be interested in having work out with my wide receivers. I trust Sean more than anything. He's defied popular knowledge every step of the way, and we're 9-2 with a reach at QB. Yeah, exactly. So if you trust Sean Payton more than anything, and he's defied popular knowledge, then we probably should not elevate A.T. Perry. I'm just being so for real. I'm just being so for real. Yeah, 35 of y'all in here, man. Feels crazy to think about. Feels crazy to think about, but 35 of you are just watching me right now in front of your TVs. Your TVs, your computers, or whatever. They went and got Lil Jordan back before elevating Perry. The dude doesn't block. Exactly. So not only did they pass on A.T. Perry for Michael Bandy, they passed on A.T. Perry for Lil Jordan Humphrey. The writing's just kind of on the wall. It is what it is. The writing's kind of on the wall when it comes to that guy. So whatever. Either way, what y'all thinking about this Nuggets game? Oh no, the Nuggets game ended. What happened in the Nuggets game? Does anyone know? Troutman and Ingram can't block for shit. Yeah, you're right. Troutman can't block either. Can't block, and Ingram can't block either. So, and what's crazy to me is that we signed Evan Ingram, but Sean Payton like very clearly doesn't like guys who don't block. So I don't get why we signed him to begin with. Okay, I gotta go. Okay, I'll go sleep now. GG's, guys. GG's, T Fishers. Thank you for all the financial support tonight. That was insanely nice of you, insanely generous of you. And once again, I'm moved. I'm moved by what y'all do for me. Crazy good Nuggets game. Wait, who won? Let me look this up, actually. Oh my God, they won. They beat the Rockets on the road. Wow. Holy cow. Gordon got hurt, but Jokic and Maul pulled up. That's sick. Hasn't Maul been hurt too? Heck yeah, but fire. Orlando, my favorite team, is finally above 500. Adkins should be back next week. That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool, but if you guys don't know the story about Nate Adkins, the reason we call him Root Beer Adkins is because he went into Mark's vape shop and just made a total ass about himself. So if you guys ever hear me say Root Beer Adkins, I know I haven't really talked about that on this channel, but Nate Adkins is genuinely, I've heard not a nice person outside of the team facility. Granted, I think a lot of the reasons why he's not nice is because he went in and he was buying root beer vape and he was just fiending for nicotine. Gordon got hurt, but Jokic and Wall pulled up. That's sick. Nuggets won 112 to 109. That's fire. I think he was expecting our tight end room to stay healthy, and now we're suffering the consequences of signing a non-blocking tight end. That is true, but Adkins is our best blocking tight end. Troutman can block. The issue is that he's just been really bad this year for whatever reason. And yeah, I think next year we definitely need an inline guy. We need an inline guy that can not only block, but be dynamic in the passing game as well. And those guys are very rare. Like even the Bowers of the world, like even those guys, it's hard for them to block. Like even Colston Loveland, I don't think he's done that great. The only exception I've seen is that Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren can block, and he can block as good as an offensive lineman and make plays downfield as good as any offense or as good as any passing catching weapon too. But yeah, we do need an inline tight end badly. And honestly, I don't really like first round tight end. I really don't. I think first round tight end is a big waste of resources. I think first round tight end, if you look at the hit rate past 7-8 years for teams that have taken them, bad, really, really bad. Now, granted, it's been better recently with Warren and, Loveland's ramping up and Bowers has been really good too. But, you think about the other guys in the past 8 years, you think about Hawkinson, not worth eighth overall. Fant here, not worth 20th. I'm trying to think. 2021, Pitts, fourth overall, bad pick. So, yeah. Yeah. Can't sunshock the T-Wolves. That's kind of sick. Can't wait till you start scouting prospects so we can talk about more detailed players. Yeah, I'm telling you, the offseason is truly where we shine here at Kodiak Broncos. And I love, love, love the offseason because as much as I love watching our team on the field, like I get so much more excited thinking about the offseason and what moves we could make to improve this team. The draft is my Christmas, just flat out. I'm back. Hi, Roan. Hi, Roan. I just want a tight end that can run up the seams. Oh, that's fire. Yeah, that'd be fire. It'd be fire to have a tight end that could run up the seams. So, either way, Warren was a big time pick too. He was first round pick, especially in this class. Yeah. There's a good tight end off the radar this year. You mind name dropping or whatever? Jokic was one assist away from a triple double. That's crazy, but that's Jokic thing. That's just Jokic things. Like he's crazy. He's so crazy. Bo and Vele were working on those seam shots. That's why I was losing my mind about trading Vele. I definitely wasn't happy when it happened either. Like, the value is kind of hard to turn down, but I really, really wasn't a fan of the idea of trading Vele. Now, once again, early fourth round pick, then I get it. It's good value. It's great value. It's one the team couldn't pass on, especially because Franklin and Bryant had been really, really reliable and had emerged. But at the end of the day, like I really wasn't happy with trading Vele either. Granted, I think our struggles are very much independent of Vele, but I think Vele really, really could have helped this team when they were struggling offensively. This season is going by fast, agreed. Like I can't believe it's been 2.5 months since we played Tennessee week 1. It feels like the season hasn't even started. Like that just shows you how fast this season actually has been going by. Now granted, football months go by twice as fast as non-football months, in my opinion. But yeah. I wanted Njoku. I did too, but unfortunately, I don't think Cleveland's going to trade him, even with the emergence of Fannin. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see this. Can't remember the dude's name. Oh wow. Can't remember the dude's name. Nice. But yeah, any idea? Any idea on what the guy's name is? Dude, all this winning has my T levels over the moon, dude. Same. I forgot what it's like to just have a team that just wins a lot. Even in games where they shouldn't. Like, it's been almost 2 months since we've lost a game. It's been almost 2 months a game. Looking at Twitter right now. DMVR analysis always talks about him. Yeah, Kenyon Sadiq, he's supposed to be really, really good. But the DMVR draft analysis has talked about him, but he's not on the board right now. That's kind of crazy. Once again, I'm curious to see who this is because this requires further investigation to see if this is truly guaranteed. Payton has a beat on him. I guarantee all the front offices probably have a beat on him if he truly is that good. But yeah, obviously he's only going to get picked by one team. But I get what you're saying. Like, they're still probably checking to see, who's going to be our joker or whatever. Because it looks like the only joker was Evan Ingram for joking the team into signing that contract or giving him that contract. I'm kidding. But yeah. Ultimately, I just think, what am I saying? This team is going to do a lot of really nice things during the draft. Like, I've shown no reason to doubt this front office. I made a video after the draft and talked about why I didn't think this team had a very good draft. I honestly wasn't too happy with what they did, but yeah. Are we spoiled in wins? Do you think our fan base is scared to have hope again because of the Tebow and Drew Lock seasons? I don't get why people are so negative. I may be like, and I'm pretty guilty of this too. Like, I expected us to not put on a clinic against the Raiders, but I didn't expect us to go 3-and-out 8 times against them. Um, I think it's valid criticism because this team, based on the way the coach sold it to us, would have a really good offense. And while the team's record is what it is, for the most part, I don't think it's matched the preseason hype until this past Sunday, until they played against Kansas City. So we'll see this team really ramp up after the bye. Sadiq out of Oregon would be a nice pick. I don't know how his blocking is, but my boy Andy said it's really good. That being said, like, I just don't like first round tight end. Like, hold on, I'm gonna bring something up for you. I didn't think, okay, you guys can flame me for whatever. I didn't think Loveland was like that good of a prospect. Like, I still thought he was like a late first, early second round guy, but I didn't think he was that crazy to warrant a high pick, especially when a tight end class was that deep this past year. I really liked Warren, but I felt like I was taking crazy pills when it came to the analysis of Colston Loveland last year. I felt like a lot of people talked about him as a yak god, and he only had 3 missed tackles over the past 2 years, his past 2 years at Michigan. Now, here, hold on. Here we go. This is why I don't like first round tight end. So basically, first round tight end is one of the worst bets you can make in football. No, I'm not going to show you a picture of Noah Fant. And the crazy thing is, I liked Fant, but there's no denying he wasn't worth the draft slot that we drafted him at. But either way, so Loveland was definitely overhyped because of his size in the national championship. I don't agree about. I agree that he was overhyped, but I don't agree that those were the reasons why. I think people just really liked his blocking. I never saw him be that good of a blocker, and they also really liked his. A lot of people talked about his missed tackle ability, but I didn't think he was that good of a yak guy. There was a play of him like kind of stiff arming a dude in Texas, and that just circulated the rounds during draft Twitter on draft Twitter, and I was like, that play wasn't that good. Like, I'm like, what? But yeah, no, I thought Loveland over Warren was not that good by Chicago. Granted, I still think Loveland was like a late first, early second round guy, but I didn't like him that much as a prospect. Especially I thought he was closer to like Ferguson, Arroyo, and Taylor, and then the guys that went in the second round than he was to Warren. But either way, I think the problem is tight end is so hard to translate to the NFL. Granted, it's getting a little bit better. Like, we've gotten some pretty good tight end prospects the past few years, but even the generational tight end prospect in Kyle Pitts busted. So, yeah, that's how I'm feeling about that. That's how I'm feeling about that. Like, first round tight end, it's just a bad bet. No way, any way you look at it. You could say Bowers and Warren and Loveland are probably going to flip the script, but Kincaid won't. Kyle Pitts won't. Like, he might get a second contract from Atlanta, but yeah. I liked Gadsden and Helm more than Loveland. Go ahead, call me crazy. I mean, everybody has their own analysis and different opinions, especially during draft season, make the world go round. But yeah, I mean, I guess you're right because Gadsden's been a crazy, but Loveland is really starting to ramp up. So I don't think Chicago completely choked the pick, but I really don't like it. I really didn't like the idea of Loveland in the first round. I've been up the whole time. Casuals and media love to doubt the Broncos, but former players and guys that know ball aren't. That's very true. That is very true. Gadsden is so good. He is good. He is good. I hate the Chargers got him in the 5th round. We had so many chances to get him. I hate having Kincaid in fantasy. Oh, yeah. Kincaid, you probably hate owning any Buffalo player right now unless it's James Cook. Josh Allen's been so frustrating to own. I only have one. How do you feel about the wide receivers in the upcoming draft that would be in our pick range? I think the only guy who I think is really going to be at our pick range that I can say for certain is Mekhi Lemon. I think even to him, he's probably going to be like a mid to late first round wide receiver, and we're going to be picking anywhere from 24 to 32. So it's obviously a toss-up if he even makes it there, but Tate, I don't think we're going to see. Tyson, I definitely don't think we're going to see. I think both those guys probably sneaking into the top 10, especially if Tate continues having his insane season. But yeah, there are a lot of good wide receivers in the draft. There are a lot of good wide receivers in the draft, and let me check one thing. So what's the shit? I don't know, man. I don't know. Have you looked into Chris Bell? Do you think he goes before us? I don't know, because there's a lot of teams. The trenches are really good in the draft this year. Actually, they're not really good on the D line, but they are really good on the O line. So I think a lot of the really shitty teams will take offensive linemen. I don't know, because if Chris Bell really is that good of a prospect, I mean, he's another guy that I think there's 5 wide receivers right now that'll be first rounders. I think it'll be Mekhi Lemon. I think it'll be Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Chris Bell, and I think it'll be Casey Concepcion. I don't. Right now. It's really tough for me to project range, especially for prospects, especially considering it's not even January yet. It's not even close to January, to be quite honest. But 6'2", 220 player at Louisville who's producing despite Louisville having a really strong rushing team. I'm interested. For now. You might need to trade up. You very well might need to. And honestly, I think this is the time for the Broncos to trade up. Like, the rest of the roster is clearly filled out. You can afford to take a swing at a wide receiver who might change and flip the field for us. Keith Tlaib and Ward are real ones, yeah. Even Richard Sherman jumped into the ring to defend Moss. He did. He did after that horrible call against the Giants. I bet you could sell Surtain to get whoever you want. I couldn't even imagine this fan base if that happened. Lemon won't get close to us at all. Yeah, he probably won't. I thought, wait, hold on. Actually, this is the first time I've been on this site this year. Let's see this. You guys want to look at some mocks with me? I think I have my Detroit eyes open because Mekhi looks like Amon-Ra St. Brown to me. Bo could use a slot demon that could separate. I think if there was a guy who stylistically played a lot like Amon-Ra, I think we already missed our chance with Ekbuka. But I agree that he is a hell of a separator. So, yeah. And hold on. I'm going to show you guys this. Nope. Not turning my ad blocker off. All right. Let's look at some mock drafts. Let's finally talk some prospects, y'all. All right. Wait, no. All right, could you imagine if Arvell Reese, an off-ball linebacker, went number 1 overall? That's like unprecedented. Caleb Downs is not going to go number 2 in the draft process. Like, he is. I like Denzel Boston, but guys that are like of that archetype really scare me. I don't know if he can like play real X receiver like I was convinced that Tetairoa McMillan could last year. Either way, let's look at some ranges. Okay. If you guys don't use this site, you should. It's really, really cool. But yeah, let's look at the range for Mekhi Lemon. Let's look at the range. Okay. So as of right now, he is creeping up. He's definitely creeping up. Like, in the beginning of the year, he was like a second round dude. Now he's definitely like mid first. So, man, you guys are probably right that he's not going to. You're probably right that we're not going to see him. But hold on. I think it's more likely that we see him than it is we see a guy like Jordan Tyson, who's being ranked 6th overall right now. And then another guy who is gaining a lot of steam. I don't think he's as high as Tyson, but yeah. So basically, that's the way things are looking right now for all these players. We got the juices flowing. We do got the juices flowing. I've been on here for 2 hours, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. Could see us going inside linebacker in the draft. I could too. I could too. And honestly, that's one of those positions where if the Broncos were to draft inside linebacker, that's the only thing I think I wouldn't be mad about if we were to go defensive side of the ball in the first round. Actually, I'm never mad about trenches. I would be fine with trenches too, but yeah. Lots of good players. You are very correct. Lots of very good players. If the 49ers void Aiyuk's guarantees, what would the contract look like if the Broncos sign him in the offseason? So if they void his guarantees, he's basically cut and he's a free agent. I imagine that nothing above $10 million a year. I don't think that now, granted, he might get a lot more than that on the open market, but flat out, if a guy tears his ACL then forces his way off a team, I can't imagine he has that much value in the NFL. That being said, I still think we should kick the tires, even if it costs us a little bit more than that. But yeah, that's how I perceive the NFL viewing Aiyuk. But so here's basically what's going on, right? Oh, shit. Oh, shoot. My camera overheated. All right. My camera overheated, so it's time for me to switch back to my webcam. Okay. I'm going to turn my camera off real quick. Okay. Christian Miller or Connell Tate, my Golden Boys of the first round. Trust in the pedigree of both programs. Blue chippers, yes. I got to see Connell Tate in person a couple weeks ago. He is sick. Christian Miller, let's check his range. Let's check his range. The fuck? Potato time. Yeah, literally. Get one in the second or third round. Yeah, the problem is linebacker, unless it's like a blue chip prospect, it's a really hard position to A, evaluate, B, translate to the NFL. Either way, check out Ty Simpson gaining draft steam. Yeah, you can get inside linebacker second or third. That's true. Inside linebacker seems like it's pretty strong this year. Hold on. Let me go linebacker and see what we got here. Okay, so we've got at least 6 guys that are like at least top 100 talents right now, or 7 actually. But yeah, we'll see. The problem is Arvell Reese is not going to be anywhere near us, but Sonny Styles, I think he's going to be a riser too. Like I think teams are really going to like what he does. But let's see who the most commonly mocked players of the Broncos are right now. Playing Madden, that's sick. I love to play college football, so yeah, that's fire. Every year at LSU is due to the Broncos, of course, because of Sean and Cedar Weeks or Harold Parking's watch. Yeah, I agree. Last LSU player we took was who? Cushenberry. Got to look at the defensive scheme they play, often propped up. I agree. Okay, so the most commonly mocked player to us is Caden McDonald and Denzel Boston. That's really, really interesting because I don't know, man. So I see all these mock drafts from predominantly orange, and that's good. But it looks like national guys have us going with it looks like national guys have us going with and then for some reason they think we're going to go on the interior defensive line, which I wouldn't hate, but man, it was Savion. Oh my God, how did I forget about Savion? Oh my God, you were so correct. Luke's been hurt, and him and Perkins, and doesn't have position. I don't want none of them. Yeah, like for a staff as good as ours at developing their talent, I don't think Vance Joseph, quite honestly, has earned the right to do another like positionless player like he did with Isaiah Simmons. Let me see if I can turn my camera back on. Let's see if I can turn this back on. There's some good running backs that fall without getting a role player. I don't think we're getting a running back in this draft at our picks. Yeah. Denzel Boston is a court replacement. Do you think they're going to move on from court? I don't think so. Well, shit. All right. My camera's still not functioning or whatever. But I think if they pick JFM back up and keep the defense congruent, yeah, Yeah. I would love for there to be minimal changes to this defense besides adding another linebacker. But yeah, why is Cade McDonald? Why is this guy being mocked to us? Like, we probably don't need interior defensive line. But yeah, let's look at this one right here. CJ Allen. Okay, I like it. Jeremiah Love to Chicago would be crazy. Jeremiah Love to Chicago would be insane. This would also be equally insane, and I would hate it, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, this draft class, people say it's not that good of a draft, but they just get mad when it doesn't have like a ton of blue chip edge talent or quarterback talent or wide receiver talent and cornerback talent. This draft is pretty good. Now, 27 looks a little stronger right now with more blue chip prospects, but this draft also looks pretty good. I can't fucking believe Atlanta gave the Rams their first round pick. Like, James Pierce is a good player, but for us to be like James Pierce is our 2026 first round pick, that's bad. That's actually insane. You can get him for less than 15 with some guarantees. I don't know, man. I think he's getting 22 on the open market. I just do. I think if Milton got 22-ish, I think JFM's pretty close to that. Him and Christian Miller are mocked to us because they don't think he recovers. Fall to us and Roach and JFM are up for contracts. Yeah, but we're definitely going to bring one of those guys back. Like, there's no reason why we shouldn't bring back like a guy like Roach or whatever. Thing is, guys having a good season and stay healthy. Plus, they love it here. Yeah, they do. Like, even Dobbins, man, he's just like, man, Broncos country was an amazing fit for me. So basically, it seems like everybody thinks Ruben Bain's going to go to Tennessee, and they have back-to-back first overall picks. You know, if Vance Joseph does go to Tennessee, and that like rumor is true or whatever about how Vance Joseph is a front runner, if you guys didn't see that, Mark Schlereth today said that Vance Joseph is one of the early front runners for the Tennessee head coaching job. Ruben Bain would be sick for him. But yeah, Jordan Tyson is going to. Who's your first round draft dream pick? Probably any of these guys. Like, realistically, like if you're talking about guys that aren't going to be there, like Jordan Tyson, he is so sick. You know, all these guys are insane wideouts too. But if you're talking about a guy who I think might be realistic, not Arvell Reese, we're not going to see him, but Sonny Styles. Like, I just love the idea of just building a defense that is just loaded at every step of the way and just so many guys that could just make plays and just, I don't know. I love the idea of this defense just becoming that good. This team clearly knows what they're doing when it comes to D-line talent, so I don't think they need to draft a defensive lineman in the first two rounds. Now, third round maybe, but we'll see. I also really like Lomu. I think, you know, the agile offensive lineman type, I think, is really good. And, you know, this could be our Bulls replacement. You know, how poetic would it be to go from Utah to Utah, especially because Fano and Lomu are both insane run blockers too. So I love the idea of that. And listen, we're not going to have McGlinchey forever. We're not going to have Powers forever. So worst case scenario, you put Lomu on the inside for first part of his career, and then you kick him to the outside. I imagine the VJ rides out the defense he built in Denver. He can get a bag and pad his resume to go somewhere other than the Titans. I get what you're saying. I really do. But we'll see. I don't think you build that kind of chemistry in a unit and don't get attached. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I really get what you're saying. Jordan Tyson scares me because ASU doesn't have a program to keep receivers healthy. Basically looks like Brandon Aiyuk, same school too. Yeah, I mean, it's not invalid, but at the same time, like ASU has really ramped up like their credibility. I mean, Scatterbo, ASU legend right there. But yeah, so we'll see. Like, I get the hesitation here, but with my thing, I'm always like scout the player, not the helmet. And you know, N'Keal Harry, I'll give that one to you. But yeah, Styles can be a leader for this defense for the next 5 years. Yeah, agreed. And I just love the idea of going Man, this front office clearly wants to invest in defense. And I know that linebacker is not a valuable position, but if you can get Greenlaw and Styles, oh boy. ASU seems to have run them into the ground because now they're both injured. Yeah, but the Scatterbo injury was like a freak thing. And then Levitt got hurt too. I agree. But once again, like, I don't know. Injuries always require context, but we'll see. Like, I'll have to further investigate. He did explain how Sean's team building taught him a lot on a podcast, though. Oh. Yeah, exactly. Like, when he was with Schreger, he was like, we should build the offensive line. We should do whatever. And I agree. The writing was kind of on the wall. Well, I've been going for 2 hours, and just so I don't get, like, writer's block or burnout, and I'm actually good to go for tomorrow night, I am going to go to bed. Either way, I appreciate you all for sticking this far with me. Like, this has been absolutely incredible. And the fact that I get to do this every single night with y'all, I'm spoiled rotten. So I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Obviously, thank you, Seth, for the super chat. Thank you, T Fishers, for the super chat. Thank you, Stucker, for the super chat. Roan, always a pleasure to see you. Hopefully you enjoyed playing Madden or whatever. But TW, I love seeing you here every night, man. It's always a banger. You always got some good takes too. Hydramo, always so chill hanging with you too, man. Love hanging with y'all. Like, it is so sick that I get to do this. And, I'm never going to take it for granted. Thanks for writing this out with us. Thank you for writing this out with me. It's been 2 hours. But yeah. Either way, Cobra as well. Got to give a shout out to you as well. Dennis Reisman. It's been great. It truly has been great. Kota. Mark also dropped in the comment here. And yeah, overall, I think y'all are really awesome. And I look forward to doing this with y'all tomorrow night. I look forward to doing this with y'all for the rest of the season. And I will see you guys next time. Mile high salute.